Hey guys, it's me, Sloan, and I received a message from one of my sisters, and it's one of those messy sister relationships. Let's get into it. See, last year on September 3rd, I think it was. Well, it doesn't matter. It was my father's anniversary, the anniversary of his death, my dad, and well, I went with my brother and sister because they wanted me to go and I didn't. I prefer to mourn my dad alone. It's a thing. I'll open a bottle or smoke a blunt and sit here and talk to him as it should be. Although I do that more than just on his day, to be honest. I think about him every day. That being said, I was taken there by my brother and sister, and apparently because I went there with them, I could not leave without them or without them helping me leave. That's important later. When I showed up, we're just going to call him my Uncle Rumple because I don't want to give his real name. It doesn't matter. But my Uncle Rumple decided to have beef with me. See, my Uncle Rumple is also besties with my ex-husband, who I even admit in my book to having poisoned. Yeah, so Rumple's pissed off at me because I poisoned his bestie. If he hasn't noticed, though, his bestie never fully drank the poison, and therefore he's still alive. And so why are you pissed at me? Your boy's still breathing. Secondly, he has been hearing rumors from the women around. And this is where shit gets funny. Because one of the women who I'd never met, well, maybe in passing over the years, but I never met one-on-one. We were never introduced to one another as, we'll call her Leslie. Now, Leslie hates me for some unknown reason. But her excuse for hating me is, and I quote, "It's not because of the Auntie Sue situation. It's not because of Sue. It's because you feel superior and you're not his daughter." Honey, I never said anything to you because I don't know you. And I don't have to justify being his daughter. The old man adored me, and everyone who knew me knew it. And so whatever you're talking about doesn't matter to me because you're wrong, actively wrong. So I sat there going, yeah, but I have no beef with you because I don't even know who you are. So she got pissed off and ran upstairs to my uncle Rumple, who just like a cartoon character, like Rumpelstiltskin, you can see with arms flailing and, all of that noise. That's why I call him Rumple, because he reminds me of Rumpelstiltskin. Anyway, she runs up to my Uncle Rumple and tells him that I had been a bad girl and wouldn't fight her for whatever her beef was, which I still, till this day, cannot clear or clarify, what the hell that was about. It doesn't matter, because it really was about Sue. I named her after Runaround Sue. You know the song? Because I hear it in my head every time she is mentioned. But that's besides the point. Her problem with me was definitely because of that woman. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. I don't care that you are friends with her. I'm not enemies with you. I'm not enemies with her either. Let's talk about this whole enemy bullshit. Enemies are people that you hold animosity to and you spend energy really hating on them. I have too much shit going on in my life to spend my energy hating on anybody. I don't care. I don't even care when their names are mentioned. It's just like, oh, them again. Yeah, the eyes roll, but not from hatred. The eyes roll because I have no place in the conversation that is them. I neither care one way or the other, not positively nor negatively, what happens to this person. Not Rumple or Sue. And Leslie, I don't even know her, which I will stand by until my dying day. I don't know her from Adam. She married my brother. I don't keep up with all my brother's wives. I'm my brother's keeper, not my sister's keeper. That's how I was raised. And if you want to say, oh, well, you're not a girl's girl, understand me. I was raised by literal biker gangs, street gangs, drug dealing gangs, mostly by the men. The women normally gossiped about me because I was so close to the men. And so I stood away from the women because, well, it's what I was told to do at the clubhouse with my dad. But outside of that, it just didn't seem to pay off to know these women. Most of them were trying to fuck the man that I was with, and none of them knew who I was with because I wasn't with anybody there. I was still dating my psychotic ex in Yonkers. So any conflict that these women feel they have with me is entirely one-sided because I genuinely don't care. Anyway, that whole shit started off, and I went back upstairs and argued with Rumple for a couple of what felt like hours about nothing, literally nothing. He would yell at me about telling people that my dad was my dad. He would yell at me about what was the other thing? He never mentioned my husband's poisoning, but he did mention how I cheated on him. And then I mentioned how my ex-husband cheated on me with everyone in my family. And so he got mad at that, and he raised his voice about how, oh, well, I was so stupid, and I dressed my child in a halter top when she was 2. Honey, she's sitting right in front of you. She's 22 now. Like, what are you telling me? She wasn't harmed because of said halter top. And what I didn't tell him, okay, is that I hated that halter top. As a point of fact, I remember exactly what halter top that was. My mother-in-law had bought that halter top for my child, and my ex-husband brought my child to the block with my dad and all of that in that halter top with a little hat and shorts that went with it. It was atrocious. And so when I got her home, I took said halter top, lit it on fire, and put it in my sink because I hated the idea that my child was wearing a halter top. But I got yelled at for that. This is how ridiculous the claims were. Okay. I left in a huff. I was drunk and had had a Xanax, my sister's Xanax. And I wasn't belligerent, but I was pissed off at half of the things that were said at me, and I was trying to keep my cool. I bit my tongue for 90% of the shit that he threw at me. And Leslie, for that matter. And I choked it down, and I choked it down until I started telling him to fuck off. And that's when they were like, oh, no, you need to leave. You need to get out of here because you're not showing the proper respect. What proper respect do you show someone who's actively calling you a whore and telling you that you pimped out your daughter? Also, that your father's not your dad. What kind of respect can you show this person? Like, literally, what kind of respect can you show this person, right? But I digress. I left in an Uber, and that was the end of that. I got a few phone calls, angry phone calls from my sister Karen, who recently has gotten in touch with me again. Now, the heated phone calls and all of that, she yelled at me and whatnot. And I'm not the person to get yelled at. I'm not the person you yell at because I will hang up on you repeatedly. And that's what I did. And then we went back and forth in messages, DMs, back and forth, back and forth. So when I received, firstly, an invitation from my uncle, who was no part of this, to my dad's memoriam service, I declined because I also had other plans. That was the day that I went to go see Deadpool with my friend, and I had my brother in hospice, and I really couldn't focus on everything that was going on. So I wanted to isolate this year. And later on, we found out that my brother passed. So it's been a rough time, a rough go of it. But that being said, while I'm going through all this turmoil and craziness and whatnot, my sister reaches out to me and says that she's having a hard time too. I'm like, okay. So she explains to me the hard time that she's going through, and I'm like, okay. All the time remembering that the last time I heard from her, she was yelling at me for not being respectful to the people who were actively disrespecting me. So I'm sitting there, yeah, no, I get it. Wow, that's fucked up. Damn, that sucks. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, my whole world is crashing around. My building just almost exploded on me. Like, there's a whole other video of me in a gray dress. I'm talking about it. You'll see it. Um, but, but, and she asked me why I didn't go to the memorial service. I'm like, dude, my brother was dying. I could not leave my phone. I could not focus and function on leaving my house. My brother was dying. Oh, that's fucked up. So how's your surgery? Oh, right, because I posted on Facebook that I was having surgery soon. Yeah, not just yet because more approvals are needed for my surgery. Oh, wow, that's great. You know what? We should go out. Okay, sure. Well, I have free passes to a massage parlor from this guy that I don't date anymore. That sounds wonderful. When's your next appointment? We can go after. I have 15 appointments from now. Which one are you talking about? Oh, well, when things calm down, we'll go. As if we were automatically besties, which confuses me because she's my sister in the same way that Teresa's my sister. Now, Teresa was a sister to me, and Karen was her sister, and so therefore both of them got adopted by my dad. So, all of that being said, all of that to say this, she and I were never close. We hung out now and again with Teresa, and then at my dad's funeral memoriam that day. Like, we haven't really spent very much time. Don't get me wrong, I'm open to spending time with my sisters. I'm open to knowing them as human beings. What I'm not open to is them deciding to take the parental role with me. I had parents. They're dead. My outlaw mom was Pepper. She passed away 22 years ago. My dad was Eddie, and he passed away 7 years ago. This means that nobody has the right to yell at me in the way that they did. At all. Not a single freaking soul. And with all these jokes going around about how I'm the princess, if mom and dad are dead, doesn't that make me your queen? Just saying. On that note, I'm going to go because I'm feeling the bitterness start to seep in, and I would much rather spend that energy on something efficient or useful or something. So I'm going to watch some time period violence because that'll help me with my writing of my book. And to everyone else, to those of you who report back to my family, my book is still for sale down in the description below. And you can stay mad because my book is not going anywhere. It's staying on the shelves, and you're welcome for not entirely criminalizing you in the book. You personally, the haters, you guys specifically. Outside of that, everyone else, please enjoy my book and have fun. Talk soon. Bye.